What's up, Cowboys Nation? Let's start today's conversation by talking about something crucial to our team's DNA: progress. The Dallas Cowboys are always searching for ways to improve, to evolve, and to bring success back to the star-studded turf of AT&T Stadium. And as we wrap up an unexpected and turbulent 2024 season, there's one headline that's got everyone talking: Ezekiel Elliott's release. But before we jump into it, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world, and it helps us bring you the latest Cowboys news straight from the heart of the action. Now let's dive into Zeke's story, one that's been 8 years in the making. For 8 years, Ezekiel Elliott has been synonymous with Cowboys football. Drafted 4th overall in 2016, Zeke burst onto the scene as a dynamic, game-changing running back. He didn't just play the game, he owned it. With 8,588 rushing yards, Zeke stands third on the Cowboys' all-time rushing list, trailing only Hall of Famers Emmitt Smith and Tony Dorsett. Fast forward to 2024 and the narrative has shifted. After spending a season with the New England Patriots in 2023, Elliott returned to Dallas with hopes of reigniting his career. Unfortunately, his reunion didn't live up to expectations. Serving primarily as a short yardage back behind Rico Dowdle, Zeke's production dwindled. In 16 games this season, Elliott logged only 74 carries for 226 rushing yards. His role steadily decreased, and by Week 15, Zeke was on the field for just 5% of the team's offensive snaps, a stark contrast to his heyday as the centerpiece of the Cowboys' offense. Here's where it gets interesting. The Cowboys didn't cut Zeke on a whim. According to NFL insider Josana Anderson, Elliott himself requested the release. It's a bittersweet moment for fans who've watched him grow, excel, and now leave, not as the face of the franchise, but as a veteran in search of a fresh start. The move allows Elliott to hit waivers, where any NFL team can claim him to bolster their backfield depth for the postseason. While Zeke's numbers have declined, he hasn't surpassed 1,000 rushing yards since 2021, he still believes he has enough in the tank to contribute to a contender. At 29, Elliott's best days may be behind him, but his hunger for a Super Bowl ring remains unshaken. Zeke's departure highlights a broader shift in the Cowboys' backfield. Rico Dowdle, once seen as a complementary piece, has emerged as a reliable RB1 in the absence of Tony Pollard. Dowdle's breakout season included a 12th-place finish in success rate among NFL running backs, showcasing his patience, vision, and toughness. Even more surprising has been the increased usage of KaVontae Turpin, whose electrifying 99-yard kickoff return against Washington became a highlight not just for the Cowboys, but for the entire NFL. Turpin's speed and versatility are now a key component of the Cowboys' offensive identity. This transition underscores a new era for Dallas, one that's looking to the future with fresh faces leading the charge. While Elliott's recent performance doesn't match his early dominance, it's important to remember what he's meant to the franchise. Consistency. From 2016 to 2019, Zeke was one of the league's most consistent running backs, leading the NFL in rushing yards twice. Durability. Despite the physical demands of his position, Elliott has been a workhorse, rarely missing games in his prime. Team spirit. Zeke's energy and passion for the game have been infectious. Whether it was his iconic "Feed Me" celebration or his camaraderie with teammates, Elliott's impact extended beyond the field. His contributions earned him 3 Pro Bowl selections and a first-team All-Pro nod. And while this season didn't pan out as hoped, Elliott's legacy as one of the Cowboys' greats is secure. 2024 hasn't been the easiest year for the Cowboys, but even in challenging times, there are reasons to celebrate. Let's take a moment to acknowledge some standout performers. MVP Micah Parsons. Despite missing 4 games, Parsons continued to wreak havoc on opposing offenses, ranking 6th in pressures and showcasing his unmatched versatility. Dog of the Year, CeeDee Lamb. Battling through injuries, Lamb delivered a career-best season, proving he's a true WR1 and silencing any doubts about his leadership. Rookie of the Year, Cooper Beebe. Making the transition to center, Beebe has been a revelation on the offensive line, solidifying himself as a cornerstone for years to come. As Elliott enters free agency, the big question is, where will he land? Teams in need of veteran leadership and short yardage efficiency may come calling. For the Cowboys, this marks the end of an era, but also an opportunity to fully embrace a new offensive identity. With young talent like Dowdle and Turpin stepping up, the future looks promising, even if it's bittersweet to say goodbye to one of the franchise's most iconic players. Last Sunday's blowout loss to the Philadelphia Eagles was tough to watch. It wasn't just the scoreline, it was how the Cowboys played, disjointed and uninspired. Cooper Rush struggled, throwing for just 147 yards and 2 interceptions. The leading receiver, Brandon Cooks, with only 4 catches for 52 yards, but it wasn't just about Rush's performance. There was one glaring absence that every fan, coach, and player felt: CeeDee Lamb. Without Lamb, the offense looked lost, uninspired, and frankly, one of the worst units in football. CeeDee Lamb, the team's most valuable player. Let's talk about what makes CeeDee Lamb so special. Despite battling through an AC sprain in his shoulder since Week 9, Lamb finished the season with 101 receptions, 194 yards, and 6 touchdowns. For the 4th straight year, he surpassed the 1,000-yard mark, solidifying his status as one of the NFL's most consistent playmakers. Micah Parsons, the face of the Cowboys' defense, couldn't have said it better. He might be the best player that I've seen with my own eyes. He just loves the game of football. I don't think anyone should ever question how much CeeDee brings to the team or his factor. Parsons even called Lamb QB-proof, and it's true. Whether it's Dak Prescott or Cooper Rush throwing him the ball, Lamb finds a way to make plays. This year, Lamb etched his name into the Cowboys' record books, becoming the first player in franchise history to record 1,000 yards in 4 of his first 5 seasons. He even passed Jerry Rice for the 4th most scrimmage yards by a receiver in their first 5 seasons. CeeDee isn't just a star, he's the cornerstone of this team. Without Lamb, the Cowboys' offense was predictable and ineffective. The running game, led by Rico Dowdle, couldn't find its rhythm. Rush was forced to throw into tight coverage, and the Eagles' defense took full advantage. Jalen Tolbert stepped up with a touchdown, but the receiving corps lacked the explosive playmaking that Lamb brings to the field. It was a harsh reminder of how much the Cowboys rely on their star wideout. The game plan was simple in theory: get the ball to CeeDee. But without him, there was no plan B. The good news is that CeeDee Lamb is expected to make a full recovery without needing surgery. That's a massive relief for a team that desperately needs him healthy. As we look ahead to 2025, here are some key factors that will shape the Cowboys' season. CeeDee Lamb's workload will increase with the team investing heavily in Lamb, Prescott, and soon-to-be-signed Micah Parsons. The salary cap will be tight. This means Lamb will carry an even bigger load next season. He's shown he can handle it, but the team must find ways to support him. Rico Dowdle's emergence as RB1 Dowdle became the first undrafted Cowboys player to rush for over 1,000 yards in a season. He's proven he can be the lead back, but the team needs to commit to him fully instead of relying on a running back committee approach. Depth at wide receiver. With Brandon Cooks likely departing due to cap constraints, the Cowboys will need to develop their younger receivers or bring in affordable talent to complement Lamb. Mike McCarthy's role, let's be honest, McCarthy is getting a pass for the injuries this season, but his seat will be hot in 2025. Jerry Jones needs to make moves to improve this team, and McCarthy's ability to maximize the roster will be under the microscope. If there's one takeaway from 2024, it's this: the Dallas Cowboys need to build their offense around CeeDee Lamb. He's not just the best player on the team, he's the key to its success. Whether it's short yardage situations, deep plays, or just moving the chains, Lamb has proven time and again that he's the guy you can count on. His ability to perform at an elite level, regardless of who's under center, makes him invaluable. Now it's your turn, Cowboys Nation. What are your thoughts on Zeke's release? Was it the right move for the team? Where do you think Elliott will play next season? Who's been your favorite breakout star for the Cowboys this year? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Change is never easy, especially when it involves a player like Ezekiel Elliott, who's given so much to this franchise. But as the Cowboys look ahead, there's reason for optimism. From rising stars to the hope of a stronger 2025 season, the future is bright for Cowboys Nation. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow fans. Let's keep the conversation going, and as always, go Cowboys.